Okay, just so I have it on record here, I am purposely ignoring the example from the PowerPoint slides in the book where they have array lists of strings, which are the only special case, and they're too easy. So I definitely will not use the strings. We're going to use the hockey players for now instead. Alright, back to my code. I was about to try the add method. It actually looks very easy. I go to my array list. If I have a method called add player to team, which really means add object to array list, and we did this last lesson, lesson 7, how to create objects as parameters. I can go like this, players, over and over and over again. I'm going to use my instance variable, collection instance variable, my array list. Okay, and it has add player to be added. That's it. I could add another one like this, players dot. I could do it a few ways. Well, let's try that first, and then I'll try a second technique. It's less common. Hockey player is the parameter. For I know before I start I'm going to need a hockey player, so I'll make one. Last name, quote, Gretzky, jersey number 99. Now when I make my hockey team and I ask how many players? 0. Let's add a player. Actually, before we do that, let's inspect this. The players is a pointer, it's an address. And if I go there, there's 0 things in it. And if I look at it, there's nothing in it. There's no useful data in it. However, if I add a player to the team, the one I just created, now I ask how many players are on the team. There's 1. In other words, how many objects are in my array list. We already did this right here. It says 1. And if I inspect the array list now, my object, my array list, I can see my array list, which is like a bookcase with many shelves. In fact, you can think of it as having infinity shelves. And I put something in the first shelf. It's a hockey player. Gretzky 99, that guy. So when we are making array lists, if I were you, I find it useful to think of these things as bookcases. Here's my array list called players in this case. I could have another one, dogs or something like this if I wanted. It stores only dogs. And think of them like a bookcase, and in our case I'll put 1 hockey player per shelf. They all have a number that goes with them. In general, I do not care about this number, but you should know it's there. It's called an index. It's done automatically for you. The shelves are numbered starting at 0, and when you put something in there, they go at the first empty shelf. 99 Gretzky goes on shelf 0. And then I can put another player in here. Let's say 66 Lemieux. And then if I did happen to remove Gretzky, well, I can show you what would happen. If I removed it, which we'll do in the next video or two, it would collapse a bit. The array list would collapse, and Lemieux would collapse to the first available slot element, it's actually called, and it would be an element 0. And all these things are, you can think of them as not there at all. It's always the right size. If I have an array list with 5 hockey players in it, and you inspect it, you can think of it as being size 5 shelves. I won't have empty shelves. Not before, not between, not after my elements. If I have 3 dogs, they will be index 0, 1, and 2. You can think of these as being not there. And my dogs would be there. Let's say Benji, Snoopy, Scooby-Doo. If I then erased Benji, Snoopy and Scooby-Doo would collapse to take the first two elements, and it would be size 2, like that. Another way to add players would be like this. This is not the best example, but just to get a feel for how we can do things. Public void add new player. And I could do this. Well, I'm going to add a player. You know it's to my array list. We know my array list only takes hockey players. So I'll create a local hockey player. HP equals new hockey player. And in here I can say Luongo number 1. And then I can say players.add HP. The hockey player gets added. So actually I should call this add Luongo, because that's the only one it's going to add. However, I'll create my hockey player. I have Gretzky floating out there. I have a hockey team. And when I add the hockey player parameter version, I can put Gretzky in there. Then I can get rid of the player object. Gretzky's in here now. And I can add my new player, which is really Luongo. And if I get the number of players on the team, it says there's 2. And if I inspect it and chase the arrows, I'll see Gretzky was added first, Luongo was added second, the size is 2, the number of players is 2, and in a few minutes in the next video I'll delete them, stuff like that. So the proper way to add things to your array list is right here with an object as parameter. However, you can also do it this way. I don't ask for parameters. I make objects up on the fly and stick them right in my array list. Next, we'll use the get method and remove methods in the next videos.